shaken, not stirred.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Houston, we have a problem.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies close.
I'm your number one fan.
And here we go.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Our Michael B. Jordan month is finally over. This is our last Michael B. Jordan movie that we're going to be talking about as we talk Black Panther today. I am your host, Juan. I am joined here by the cast. Ed.
Hey, what's up, folks?
Zach.
What's going on, guys?
And the Marvel movie man himself, Craig.
More of a connoisseur. Well, whatever.
I don't know what that means.
Oui.
So, but I'm kind of excited, guys. This even though this movie's been out for like 3 years this past February, like usually when we talk Marvel, it's been leading up to something bigger, and you know, there's still nothing bigger than some Marvel movies coming up. But Black Panther is still supposedly one of the biggest grossing Marvel films ever, and I think just single Hero Rise is the biggest grossing superhero movie that doesn't feature all the Avengers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of the road, we can finally say we're on the road to Black Widow May 5th or May 7th. It looks like everything's on its way to Black Widow, especially with the end of WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts this Friday, and we are bringing you guys Black Panther. Are you guys excited for what seems to be the normal, the normal era of movie theaters coming back?
Oh yeah, we're finally getting back to some normalcy, although not all the way, but we're one step closer to it.
Yeah, I think you had sent a post saying that all California locations for Harkins are opening up.
That's all California. Period. California is opening up their AMC's, their Harkins. All these movie theaters are. I heard California is going to say the hell with it, and they're just going to open up back to 50% capacity. New York and that area is 25% capacity. All the other theaters are come at your own free will. What do you guys think? Are you guys, on board? Who's going to be the first? I think me, Zach, and Craig. Ed, I don't know. When was the last time you've been to a movie theater?
Probably a few months before the pandemic actually hit.
Birds of Prey, was that the last movie you went and saw?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. So
February?
Not long, actually, yeah.
So
a month.
I think the last one for us was all Tenet?
I saw Wonder Woman in theaters.
Wonder Woman.
And I saw News of the World in theaters.
Yeah. I think I saw 11 Monsters in September.
So the last time I went to the theater was probably February.
So mine was
of this year.
Mine was August for Tenet. Because it came out in August, right?
September.
September.
Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went in December, and I went this past a few months ago for News of the World, and it felt normal. You just had a mask on.
Yeah.
It was, people were still going, enjoying themselves. Concessions was full open. You can pay with cash now. I don't know. I'm glad. I'm glad things are going back to normal. Does anybody in this room think it's too soon, or can I get it's about damn time?
I'm split on it, to be fully honest.
Why? There's 3 different vaccines out there. The numbers are going down. Why would you still be nervous about it?
I have my reasons.
What do you mean?
I have my reasons.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it's time. We all were kind of iffy about it. Even just a few months ago. But I think with the vaccines, with me already having COVID, it wasn't horrible for me, but it definitely wasn't the worst thing I've ever had. So it's like, I don't know, it just feels like the entire thing is just kind of slowed down. It doesn't feel like I don't know near as many people getting it since the start of the year, and with 3 vaccines, I think I think it's coming. It's. I think we still need to take precautions, but I don't think we need to be living in fear of it.
Which means precaution meaning wipe your ass, clean yourself, wash your hands,
Wash your hands.
take care of yourself.
If you cough,
hygiene wise,
don't right out in the air. Cover your mouth like you're supposed to do. Just be more aware of it.
Oklahoma is in phase 3 right now. We have phase 4. The United States wants everybody to be in phase 4 by May the 1st. I think it's going to happen.
Phase 4 being
phase 4 meaning everybody. The vaccine is available for everybody.
Gotcha.
Right now, phase 3, certain people can get the shots, and but like with where Zach works, I think you were able to get it in phase 1, right?
No, I got phase 2.
Phase 2.
Yeah.
My line of work was phase 3. Everybody else can get it phase 4. Restaurant business people, I think, are phase 3 as well. Phase 4 is for everybody. So, and with that many people, that's the thing that kind of shocks me. With that, not many people wanting to go out and get it. Phase 4 should be April 1st, I believe, because not that many people want to go get it.
Yeah.
So
they're still hesitant about everything.
No different than going and getting the flu shot, I guess.
Yeah. But
it's out there. Go get it, and everybody should be able to go get it May the 1st for phase 4. Creed 3, Zach, you kind of sent some of this the breaking news to us a few days ago. Same thing with I dug into it. Creed 3 officially begins shooting, I believe, later this year.
Yeah, will be directed by Michael B. Jordan guy.
Is he directing it, or who's writing the script for it?
I don't know who's writing the script. I know he's directing it, and I know Tessa Thompson's coming back for it. So I think as of right now, it's supposed to be a Thanksgiving 2022 release.
Nice.
So,
and then Ryan Coogler tweeted out that Black Panther 2 is set to release July 8th next year, 2022. Filming begins in July this year in Atlanta, Georgia. So, anybody, you guys excited? He did step out and say that Chadwick Boseman's character will not be forgotten about, but they will not recast
T'Challa.
Yeah. So, other than that, later today we will talk more about Black Panther and Black Panther 2. We are also, guys, in the football world, Drew Brees announced his retirement yesterday from football. After 20 years, the 40-year-old quarterback will call it a career. Anybody have a favorite Drew Brees moment before we get started?
I honestly think when he won the Super Bowl probably was his best moment, just because he led that city quite a bit through turmoil.
Yeah, he beat my Colts in the Super Bowl. Fuck that moment.
Well, I just think I'm not from New Orleans. I've been there once, but I just think it was really good after Katrina for them to have that nice time for that little bit, kind of a glimmer of sunshine in the rain, so to speak.
I would say just he was definitely a great motivational speaker when it came to speeches for his teammates. He led all the chants and everything for his teammates, so that was always cool to see. And when he broke one of his records, he just celebrated with his sons, and he told them, you can do whatever you want to do, set your mind to it and do it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
The Super Bowl moment was a good moment, but I was being funny. He did beat my Colts, but my favorite Drew Brees moment is his first Monday night game as a New Orleans quarterback, the first Monday night game back in the Superdome after Katrina. Michael Vick and the Falcons came to town, and they completely smoked the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Everybody had written Drew Brees off with that Tommy John surgery he had. That most baseball players, it ends their career. San Diego didn't want him. They let him go to New Orleans. They let him go to free agency, and he said it himself in some documentaries. He was choosing between Miami Dolphins and the Saints, and he went to the Saints. But that Monday night game after he signed with the Saints, it was unbelievable, and it was probably one of the greatest Monday Night Football games that I've ever seen.
The atmosphere in that stadium for that game was there haven't been many games like that with that sort of atmosphere.
Especially if it's not like a playoff-esque game.
Yeah, outside of playoffs, just them playing on a Monday night. That was the entire city was just ready for it. The team was ready for it, and like you said, it was like 40-something to 10 or 14 or something like that.
They got him pretty good.
It was bad. So,
that was a pretty wild game.
You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me. Fuck you and all your expectations. I don't even want your congratulations. I recognize your false confidence and calculated promises all in your conversation.
Alright guys, don't forget this episode is brought to you by Rodeo Cinema, located right here, 2221 Exchange Avenue in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 405-815-3275, or you can just visit them at rodeocinema.org. Friday, March the 12th, all the way through next Thursday, the 18th, they are playing, and they have been playing The Father. They're also still playing Minari and Nomadland. And this past Saturday, they had the anniversary showing of Fargo. So check them out and visit their schedule, along as whatever they're going to be playing in the future at rodeocinema.org. It's the official movie theater of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate that soundtrack curated by Kendrick Lamar for Black Panther?
Fucking amazing.
I mean, most Marvel films are all pretty much, Iron Man kind of has the AC/DC vibe going, and Thor had some of the
Led Zeppelin.
It
but
fits the characters quite a bit. I mean, honestly.
I wish more superhero movies would do this.
of like kind of like the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack, where it was songs were purely made for that film.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy listening to the album, and I, like you said, Ed, it really fits the film and it fits the characters and the vibe for what the film's going for.
I mean, T'Challa's not all about fuck you, but if you mess with his shit, he's coming after you. I mean, he's not taking it lightly.
Yeah,
he might let you pass one time, but
this might be part of the reason why some films don't do it. Zach, you probably know this. The budget for the soundtrack is also choreographed with the budget of the film, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if it's got an expensive soundtrack and movie shit, you're gonna get pretty heavily criticized for it.
Yeah.
Which, and I'm sure people were willing to cooperate with them to make that soundtrack work.
Well, it also helps that Kendrick Lamar was like on the top of the charts when this movie came out.
Yeah.
So, while they're making the movie.
The whole time sitting here watching this movie today, rewatching it, getting ready for the episode, I was like more involved with the soundtrack and the score than I have been before.
Yeah.
When you first watch it, you kind of focused on the characters and maybe some of the dialogue. But yeah, the more you watch it, the soundtrack and everything else is just
the score as well. I mean, we're talking about the soundtrack initially, but the score for this film is man, it's up there.
Yeah.
Alright guys, don't forget you can check us out at facebook.com/moviereels405 or just Facebook search the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. We'll pop right up in the Facebook search. You can there like, follow, subscribe, and share. We have all kinds of giveaways that we do. Our next big giveaway will be the Black Widow Marvel giveaway that we had scheduled to do last year. You will win a poster, some pop vinyls, a $25 gift certificate to San Marcos Restaurants, a $10 movie gift certificate to Rodeo Cinema, and you will also win Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray. So check this out. Black Widow Marvel giveaway starting next month on the Facebook page. Follow the Instagram page for different giveaways as well. The Instagram page is one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You can also follow us on the Twitter at Cine-Men405. Ed, there's also a YouTube channel that you can catch some box openings and some of our other episodes. How do they find the YouTube page?
So pretty easy. Go to facebook.com/moviereels405. That'll be a learn more button at the very top of the page. Go ahead and hit that learn more button. It'll transport you to the YouTube page. That YouTube channel will go ahead and consist of a like button, a subscribe button, and a notification bell. Go ahead and hit all three of those. That notification bell will actually let you know whenever we have an episode drop or a little unboxing or extra little videos like that drop. Always leave a comment, and please subscribe. That would be an amazing thing if we could go ahead and show a little bit more love to our YouTube account. That'd be awesome.
All right, guys, let's get into some recent watches. Zach, we'll kind of start with you. Is there anything you've been watching recently that you want to get off your chest or recommend to anybody?
So I'm trying my damnedest to get back into The Office. It's hard for me, man. Like I understand people love it and everything. I guess it's just not my.
I feel like it's really. I feel like it's really dry comedy.
It is, yeah.
Drier than a fucking weak martini.
Yeah, The Office isn't one that I can binge, but it definitely has its moments.
Yeah.
Like if you watch one or two here and there, it's fine.
But I know people that can just like binge watch it completely.
I can't do that.
I'm starting with season 2. I watched Nomadland, Johnny. I liked it. I'm probably on the same level as you. I think if it wins Best Picture, I'm not gonna be mad about it. I think it was really well directed and shot really well.
But you notice what I mean when she had 2 different movies that were performance-wise way better than this one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was good in this, but not as good as like 3 Billboards or Fargo.
Do you think it was her just based on the 2 movies, of Pieces of Woman or Nomadland?
Mm-hmm.
Which are the 2 better female character leads?
I personally, my personal opinion, I think you would agree with me, is Pieces of a Woman. So, and I think
Nomadland is still getting a Blu-ray release though.
Yeah, that feels like a Criterion movie, doesn't it?
It does.
And then I watched this documentary on Showtime called "Listen to Me, Marlon." It's about Marlon Brando, and apparently Marlon Brando, when he was alive, he had like. It was recently discovered that he had like hours and hours of just like recordings of just him talking.
Where is this at?
It's just Showtime.
How do I watch it?
Just get 1 month free and you can watch it.
God damn! Well, this episode's canceled. I'm watching that right now.
It's a really well documentary, and it really just opens up. It's all him, just him talking about just his career and everything. It's just like I know, right?
Golly.
So, The Godfather on the waterfront, everything. It's just a total package for you, Johnny. I think you'll like it. It's a little slow at points, but overall, I think it was very well done.
How long was it?
Hour.
Is it girthy?
No, it's like an hour and like 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So, but those are my recent watches.
Would you recommend? Which one would you recommend? Would you recommend Nomadland for people out there who are,
Yeah.
How do you talk somebody into watching that fucking movie?
It's tough, man. It took me like 3 different tries to finish the movie. Honestly,
and it's only an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think if you like,
there's some scenes in there that I'm just like, why does that need to be in there? Like when she has diarrhea in the van.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Character development.
Oh yeah, clearly.
I think if you're getting ready for the Oscars and you just want to watch all the films that are going to be nominated, that's fine. But if you're a movie fan like us, check out that Marlon Brando documentary.
If Nomadland was not nominated for any kind of awards, honestly, I probably wouldn't have watched it. What about you?
No, probably not.
Craig, do you have anything you want to talk about that you've recently watched?
Yeah, so I had a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No. I just did a rewatch. I did a rewatch of Judas and the Black Messiah too. So
okay, I'll let it slide. Yeah, so we had talked about, you're doing the giveaway for Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah.
So I did a kind of a Mia Jovovich binge with Resident Evil and watched all of those except for the last one. I didn't, watching them all in consecutive order, I didn't realize just how many characters they actually use on the video games. And they used every single character. Leon Kennedy, Claire Redfield, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine. I mean, they used literally everybody in those films. And the first 2 were pretty good. I think they had the Resident Evil video game type vibes. But after that, it kind of, I don't know. It just got a little big for my taste. Kind of Fast and Furious-esque.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get that with any franchise really that has over 5 or 6 installments.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way. I recently rebought those on 4K, so I can't wait to kind of recheck them out. I feel the same way. At least the last time I watched them, 1, 2, 3, and then the final one are my favorites. So. And
then last night, I've been kind of going on with my Star Wars binge. Started watching episode 9 for some reason last night, and just kind of finishing up Clone Wars, the cartoon. So,
my numbers are a little bit better. I had a week where I had like 4 fucking watches, and Felt so disappointed in myself. But after Creed 2, it kind of got me in the mood. A lot of people were talking about some 90s movies, so I went through and rewatched Good Burger for the nostalgia reasons. It's funny, but other than that, it's shit. Small Soldiers. I forgot how violent that movie is for a kid, supposedly to be a kid's movie. But I realized it didn't do so well because a few months prior was the Columbine shooting and a bunch of high school shootings. So that movie got like no publicity when it first came out. She's the Man with Channing Tatum and Amanda Bynes. It's pretty funny. Random Act of Violence was shit. I finally got to watch Monster Hunter, Zach.
What do you think?
I liked it. It felt like it was
I could have swore you told me you saw that in the theater. I'm almost certain you did.
Did I?
I thought you did, yeah.
I had never seen this. I think I would have recognized some big talking pusses. You didn't see, at the end of the movie, they're like...
I haven't seen that.
Oh, fuck. Spoiler alert. See, this is a movie that I thought you told me you saw in the theater.
No. I was like convinced that... Did it come out Christmas or something like that of last year?
Of 2019?
Of 2020.
It came out in September.
Are you sure?
I think so. It had a pretty fast Blu release if it came out in December.
No. But I haven't seen the movie. I could have swore you said you saw it.
I think I chose between this and News of the World. And I went and chose...
Okay.
Those are the two that I was deciding to see.
Okay.
Craig got me talking about and wanting to watch Star Wars, so I'm on Star Wars Episode 2. You know what? That movie is not as, a big piece of brown dog shit like I thought it would be. It's not action packed like the other Star Wars is, but it's got a good meaning behind it. You're pretty much there just to witness Anakin and Padme fall in love, I guess.
And rolling down a hill for an hour and a half.
Hey, that was one of the best hour and a halves I've ever seen.
I don't like the sound. It's cool, so rough.
Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen and Alan Rickman. I forgot how funny that movie is. I actually think I've never seen it before this recent watch. And then, guys, let's wish today is the 15th. This Saturday coming up is Spike Lee's birthday. So I'm in the middle of a huge Spike Lee binge. I watched Jungle Fever, and I have a bunch of others that I've recently bought, and I'm going to sit through and watch. This dude is slowly becoming, as more and more of his older films I see, he's starting to become like one of my favorite top one or two directors. I would probably honestly start getting ready to put him above Quentin Tarantino.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah. His stories are just impactful, and they bring real life issues onto the big screen, and like honestly, he does not care who he pisses off as far as politics wise. So I applaud the man for that. But if I had to pick anything to go see, and then I did watch Black Panther for today's episode. I would, guys, go get Monster Hunter. It's at the Redbox. Check it out. You can rent it for like $3. Pretty good movie. This is one of those movies. This feels more like a big blockbuster than Wonder Woman did. Wonder Woman did not feel like a big $200 million box office hit. I don't know why. Ed? You check anything out this week?
A couple things. I watched an episode of WandaVision. I'm slowly catching up to y'all on that. So I'm on episode 7. Watched some Naruto Shippuden for that matter. And then, basically that was about it, honestly. Didn't have too much time for anything else.
Rookie numbers. Oh, you didn't know?
Zach, I believe you have some things that we did not know about the Black Panther.
I do. So Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis, who played Bilbo and Gollum in the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogies, they were affectionately known on the predominantly black set known as the Tolkien White Guys, which I thought was funny. To prepare for his role, Michael B. Jordan kept to himself while he was on set, reasoning that his character Killmonger is distant and in conflict with other characters. Makes perfect sense. Director Ryan Coogler compared the Wakandan vibranium mines to the real-life situation of the Congo mines, where the valuable mineral coltan is used. It's for manufacturing digital products found only in the Congo region. And this one is kind of insane when you kind of think about it. Chadwick Boseman was 2 years into his 4-year battle with colon cancer when the film came out.
Nice.
So,
well, that's something you probably did not know or did know about Black Panther.
Hello, ladies.
Choose your plan, improve your erection strength with Blue Chew today, delivered discreetly to your door, no judgments, directly to your door, no judgments, no waiting room, no appointments. Visit BlueChew.com today for your official discreet appointment and sign up today. All right, guys, this week's top 5 episodes, we are talking our top 5 Michael B. Jordan performances or movies. This is a kind of a bit of a binge. We're going to start his Michael B. Jordan month in February since it was his birthday, and we're like 3-year anniversary with Black Panther, but we ended up doing something else. I think a bunch of really good HBO Max movies started hitting, so we did those. And it kind of lasted the last 2 weeks of February and the first 2 weeks of March, so we've got to watch a lot of Michael B. Jordan over the last few weeks, and honestly, it's been a pleasure. Does anybody have any honorable mentions with Michael B. Jordan?
I got 2, yeah.
I got a few. I'll rapid fire through mine right quick. Anybody else? I'm gonna say Red Tails, Ken, and my official honorable mention is gonna be Justice League Flashpoint. He was the android in that movie. Cyborg,
yeah.
Which was a much better Cyborg than what they have in the live-action Justice League movies.
I'll wait till the Snyder cut. Hold on.
And so he voiced that, and I honestly think, as far as animated DC movies goes, the Flashpoint Paradox is probably one of the best behind Mask of the Phantasm. So if they could do a live-action movie about the Flashpoint and just reset the universe, I think that's their only way to start pleasing some DC fans. At least it would be me.
Yeah.
So there is no pleasing you.
Yeah, that's my official honorable mention. Zach, what about you?
I'm going to go with That Awkward Moment, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. And my official honorable mention would be Chronicle.
Ooh, Chronicle. All right, guys. Zach, go ahead and start off with your number 5.
My number 5 is going to be a HBO movie, actually. It was a recent adaptation. I think it came out in 2018, the same year as Black Panther. Fahrenheit 451. It was him and Michael Shannon. It's the adaptation of Ray Bradbury's book. It wasn't really critical.
Is it a firefighter movie?
Yeah. It's basically a dystopia where books are burned by firefighters or like outlawed, basically. And he and Michael B. Jordan's character kind of goes on a self-discovery journey of like what knowledge is and what it can do to humans, basically. He did a good job in it. It wasn't really critically well received, but if you like the book, I think it's a pretty average adaptation, and it's on HBO Max, so go check it out.
Can I say one thing about Michael Shannon though? Like how that dude is like not
everything.
Not only that, but he's like how good he is.
Yeah.
Like he does not get a lot of like praise, or if he's in the movie, you're just like, yeah, that's Michael Shannon. But like if you really sit there and deeply look into some of his roles, like dude's on fire almost in every role he does.
Absolutely.
I just had to share some love.
Michael Shannon.
My number 5 is going to be what we're talking about today, Black Panther. just for the simple reason it's number 5 for me because of how good it is and how good he is in it. I think this movie's a very, very high rating for me no matter what, but I think if you take him out of the movie, it lowers just a little bit. But the reason it's so low on my list is because he's really not in it that much. So that's my number 5.
A very good villain makes a very good hero, for that matter. So I mean, honestly, there was some times where Michael B. Jordan stole the spotlight a bit from Chadwick Boseman's character.
We'll get into that. Me personally, I think he outdid Chadwick Boseman in every fucking scene.
So yeah.
Craig, what about you? What do you have at number 5?
Number 5 for me is just going to be Chronicle.
Force powers.
Yeah, I honestly haven't seen it in a while, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it. But I know that it's good enough to make the top 5. So
Eduardo?
I'm going to go ahead and put Hardball in there. I hadn't seen that movie until about 4 years ago. Never knew of it and all that. Never really been much of a baseball fan, but I got to say, the whole movie has a lot to offer. If you've never seen this and you're a fan of, like, I don't know, Angels in the Outfield or the Mighty Ducks or some little kid's heartwarming with some tragedy sports tale, easily watch it, honestly.
Little Giants.
Doesn't a little kid die in that movie?
Yeah, Baby G.
Zach, what is your number 4 favorite Michael B. Jordan movie or performance?
Number 4, I'm going to put, this is actually one of my other recent watches I forgot about. I watched it last night. Just Mercy, 2019 film. World-renowned civil rights defense attorney Brian Stevenson works to free a wrongly condemned death row prisoner. Man, just with everything that was going on last year with the racial civil rights and everything, with George Floyd and everything, they did put it on YouTube or whatever for, like, you can watch it for free. I highly recommend it. Just two powerhouse performances with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx, which I know you're not.
I like Jamie Foxx, but
not like, he's only done like 2 or 3 like great performances, but like, Brie Larson's also in it. It's streaming on HBO Max right now. Very good, and it's just it got me.
I'm surprised it wasn't higher up on your list. But yeah, that's a good number 4. My number 4 is going to be Creed 2. We talked about it last week. And his performance when he, just like we talked about all week, but I'll mention some highlights just in case you didn't hear it. The scenes where he's checking out to see if his baby's going to be deaf, and then the moment he does find out he's going to be a dad, those real life moments for him, can be seen on screen, and then the fights and the arguments that he has with Rocky throughout the movie, he just really kicks it up a notch in Creed 2. So that's my number 4 is going to be Creed 2 from 2018. Craig, what do you have at number 4?
Right there with you. Going to go Creed 2 at my number 2. Sort of for those same reasons. The emotional parts of that film, you can really feel the emotion from him. He does a fantastic job at displaying how his character is supposed to feel in those moments. So, Creed 2.
Creed 2 at number 4 for you too. Ed, what about you?
See, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch and put Fruitvale Station, number 4 for that matter. First time watch just a few weeks ago and all that when we did the episode. If you want to know more, go ahead and just check out one of those two. And I've got to say, it did blow me away. That was a very good one.
Zach, what do you have? What's your number 3 favorite Michael B. Jordan movie?
Number 3 is what we're talking about today, Black Panther. So we'll get into it here in a little bit.
Black Panther. Number 3 for me is going to be Zach's number 4, Just Mercy. I had no really excitement for the movie, and then Zach kind of hyped it up for me a few years ago on the recent watches, and I checked it out, and I just fell in love with it from the opening scene all the way to the end. Michael B. Jordan's performance is unbelievable. There's a scene in there where he's a lawyer defending somebody, and he has to be strip searched just because of his color, and that some of those scenes just fucking hit you in the stomach. So do yourself a favor, go check it out on HBO Max. Just Mercy is my number 3. Craig, what about you?
Number 3 is going to be Fruitvale Station. It's a movie we talked about just a few weeks ago. So if you want to learn more about how I feel and how we feel about that film, just go check it out. Go check out that podcast.
Also, Fruitvale Station is on Netflix still, so
Yep.
go check out that as well. Ed, what about you? What do you have at number 3?
Number 3, I'm actually going to put That Awkward Moment here. It's one of my favorites that he's done. I thought it was a very good film, very good dialogue in it and all that. Personally, I was really kind of blown away by it when I first saw it in theaters. So I'll put this one at number 3. I'd definitely say if you like the comedies that are a little bit raunchy, heartfelt, and just funny, go ahead and give a little nod to that.
Zach, what do you have at number 2?
Number 2, going to follow you, Johnny, you and Craig. Creed 2. Go back and listen to our episode we did a couple weeks. Was it last week or
Last
the week
week?
before last week? I feel like that was like 3 weeks ago.
Damn.
Yeah, for it to be a sequel, I think it's one of the better sequels that's out there. We talk about, is it a little cliche? Yeah, in some parts, especially with the Rocky formula. But I mean, everyone brings their A game, and I think it's it definitely is up there with some of the boxing movies out there. So
Yeah. My number 2 is going to be the original Creed from 2015. I just feel like his performance in that, being the first of its kind of character, kind of knocks you out, no pun intended. And then him going out the movie not trying to be Creed and just being his own boxer. And then when people start finding out he's Creed, he gets upset. His emotions is just at all different levels in this movie. So, and then you can really tell his acting chops is how good he is whenever they find out that Rocky's sick, and he's got to prepare for the fight as well. So, the first Creed, top notch. I believe it's available on Vudu for like $3.99 to go rent. So go check it out. I don't know why every single Rocky movie is on HBO Max, and then Creed 2 is on Hulu, but you can't find Creed 1 to stream anywhere. So it's kind of weird, but that's my number 2 is the first Creed from 2015. His performance is amazing. Craig, what about you?
Sorry. I'm going to follow up with you. First Creed is my number 2. Just kind of for the same reasons you went along with. Finding out that Rocky was sick and the emotions that he was showing in that, and kind of being, his first, main focus film for himself. I thought it was pretty good. So, Creed 1 is my number 2.
Ed, what about you? What is your number 2?
I'm gonna put Creed 2 here. I really like the film. It, kind of shows. I mean, it is kind of like Rocky 4 for that matter, in a way. But it's a parallel. But at the same time, it does show a struggle of a different person and a different way to come up. You know what I mean? So I did like Creed 2 quite a bit. Definitely, if you've seen Creed 1 and you're into the Rocky movies, go ahead and see that one. You owe it to yourself.
Zach, what is your favorite Michael B. Jordan movie?
Number 1, I mean, it's probably no surprise, is Creed. Absolutely love the film. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I totally agree. I mean, his performance in that, especially since that is basically his, coming out. I know he's did things before that, but this is, his first, coming out party. I truly believe that he should have been nominated for Best Actor, along with Sly, and the film be nominated for Best Picture and Director and everything. And it's a great character study, and it's a great, if you just want to see what an actor can do, just right out the gates, definitely check out Creed.
My number 1 is going to be almost the exact same thing you just said, but for Fruitvale Station is my number 1. I feel like he should have been nominated for this movie. I feel like the movie should have had more recognition than it did. And you really, for him being so young in this movie, he's surrounded by Octavia Spencer, who she does amazing in this movie. And it's not only his first really big feature film, but it's also Ryan Coogler's directorial debut. And they just, they come out blasting. It's all different kinds of emotions. Like I said, we reviewed this movie a few weeks ago. Check it out for yourself. Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, wherever you get your podcast. Fruitvale Station from a few weeks ago. You can also check out the movie on Netflix. So Fruitvale Station is my number one. Craig, what about you?
My number one is, obviously it's going to be Black Panther. Not just for the fact of Michael B. Jordan's, how you put it, as he described it, distant character on set. The acting and character portrayal that he does in this film is great along with the film. So that's kind of why it pushes it to number one for me. I just think Black Panther is a great film, let alone a great MCU film. So we'll talk about it more in just a little bit.
Ed?
And I'm going to go ahead and put Creed, the original for that matter, up in this spot. I've got to say, personally, it was nice kind of seeing him really set in his own predominant role, seeing what he can do as the main attraction for that matter. But yeah, so I mean, kind of like what I said on my number two, if you like any of the Rockies, if you are a boxing fan or anything like that, I think this is a very good movie to check out.
They're in a hurry, you don't have to worry, 'cause baby there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you.
Don't forget, guys, this episode is also brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located at 2301 Southwest 59th Street, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Their phone number is also 405-685-7773. You can check out weekday specials Monday through Friday for just $6.99, from stuff like the taco salad, the burritos, tamales, enchiladas. Monday through Friday, $6.99 lunch all day. Also tell them that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you, you'll get 10% off your meal. And don't forget, guys, on Wednesdays, everybody needs a good hump day, and everybody needs a good margarita. So go back and check out San Marcos on Wednesdays for $5 margaritas at any San Marcos location. Again, 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's the official restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Alright, guys, today we are talking Black Panther from 2018. IMDb has it currently at a 7.3. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 96, while the Metascore is a 5 out of 5. Starring Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Martin Freeman, Daniel Kaluuya, written and directed by Ryan Coogler. It is Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. T'Challa is at the top of the kingdom. Wakanda must step forward to lead his people into the new future and must confront Killmonger as he challenges, as he has a big challenge from his country's past. Guys, this has a $1.2 million budget, and it grossed a little over $1.3 billion. I didn't realize how much money this movie made. But we're going to talk about it. Ed, we'll start with you. Did you get to check this in the theater? And how was your first viewing to recently for the podcast?
Honestly, I think I did see it in the theater. It's been a while. I've seen it multiple times, and every time it's one of those that has easy, watchability to it.
Good watchability?
Yeah, easy.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah, check this out, opening weekend. I was, I heard the buzz, and I heard the, the critical reception of, it's arguably probably one of the best Marvel movies ever, and I was kind of worried that I wasn't gonna like it, but man, it Ryan Coogler just took care of everything, and I just walked out saying, yeah, that's probably one of the best Marvel films up to that point.
He wrapped it up and took care of it like it was a baby.
Yeah.
Craig, I did not see this opening weekend, but I did see it in theaters because of you, because I was really afraid of the crowds. Like, this movie had massive, massive crowds from opening weekend all the way to I went and saw it like a month later. It came out February 16th. I didn't check it out until I saw it on my Facebook memories like last week. So I checked it out like a whole month later, and the crowd was still massive. So I liked it, and you're the one who talked me in to go see it. I was just going to wait for the Blu-ray like I normally do, but you talked me in to go see it. We actually went and saw it with you my first time, and I was blown away by it. And at first, the only negative I had from it when I first saw it in theater, that it was a little too long for me. But like now, as I've seen it multiple times, it just flies by really quick, especially getting involved in the dialogue and the story. And we'll talk more into it later. But yeah, what about you? I'm sure you went and checked it out opening weekend.
Yeah, checked it out opening weekend with opening, that Thursday night showing with I think my wife and father-in-law. I talked him into go, and he's kind of on the Marvel train with us now. And yeah, my initial watch it was a huge crowd. Didn't have a lot of the some movies are big movies, and then there are some movies that are big events. Infinity War was an event, Endgame's an event, Avatar, Titanic, those were kind of events. This was also an event because it had such a huge cultural impact on the African American community, because not many had anything sort of like this. I mean, this film shows so much of the African culture that, people were dressing up sort of in the same kind of clothing and everything like that. So the crowds were huge. But yeah, opening that Thursday night was amazing. The crowd, it was a big energy, amazing crowd, amazing movie. So,
and that's what I'm excited. I'm excited for people to get back on to doing stuff like that. Before we get started and we start talking about how big of a film this was, if you guys could enlighten the performances from this movie and talk about some of your favorite performances as we will throughout the movie. This cast, I just named a few, but this cast is massive. You have, such an impact from some of the small opening scenes all the way into, some of the big moments of the film that now have, etched their way into film history. Let's talk about the opening, guys. First off, this isn't the first time you see Black Panther in the MCU. He makes his first appearance in Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Which was a hell of a opening for that character.
Yeah. And that was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, kind of don't read the scoop, or you kind of stay away from dirt sheets, that was a huge moment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people take the Spider-Man moment away from Civil War, but looking back at it,
the Black Panther intro is very, very good.
To me, you kind of introduced both characters. You've had Spider-Man movies before,
mm-hmm.
but with Tom Holland introducing as Spider-Man, and then you have Black Panther introduced in the same film. Looking back at it, I would say the Black Panther character
had a much bigger impact on that film.
On the whole franchise.
Yeah.
On the whole MCU. Yeah, the Spider-Man movies were good, but I don't think any of those two Spider-Man movies that came out have reached how good Black Panther is.
No.
What do you guys think of the opening scenes through this movie? First off, if you guys haven't seen Black Panther, what the fuck have you been doing with your life for the last 3 years? It's streaming now on Disney Plus. You can check it out for I don't even know how much they are a month, $10 a month. But yeah, you can check them out Disney Plus, or you can just go pick up the Blu-ray. It's still out there. I do have some interesting facts about this movie, but go ahead and get into what you got to get into, Zach.
No, you were asking about the opening. I really, really enjoyed I think it was a really cool, the Wakanda origins, like told through like the sand and time and everything. I thought that was a really cool way of introducing the film. Of this is this world, this is the vibranium. We heard vibranium from Cap Shield and everything, but we don't really know what that was.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really nice introduction to
Because you first hear
the
about
world.
you first hear about Vibranium. What is it? The first Avengers?
First Avenger, yeah.
I'm sure. I don't know about you guys, but did you guys know about it leading into a Black Panther film, or did you just think, oh, it was more Stark Industry stuff?
I knew about it way before, like, even Iron Man was created. Because I've always heard the debate between adamantium, Wolverine's metal, and vibranium. So
I thought it was Stark technology.
Craig?
I knew it was the strongest metal. I didn't know the origin of it.
Right.
Be pretty fun. Do you guys think that this movie's sequel has been kind of drowned upon because of the events of not only the pandemic, but also the events of Chadwick Boseman?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think that they should just leave it alone and not even have a sequel?
No, I think a sequel is respectable, honestly.
I think Chadwick would say, have a sequel. And I think
The show must go on.
Yeah, I think the way the sequel is going to
Deal with the situation.
as well as, pay its respects and move forward with it is going to be, I think Ryan Coogler is going to do a fantastic job with it.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think any other director could pull it off.
No.
If you ask me. I think what he's done with the first one, what he's done with any other movie he's ever done or touched, Black Panther 2 could be one of the first superhero-related movies to, probably win some big awards.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's on the cusp of doing something great. I don't necessarily think it's going to be Black Panther 2, but I do think it could be. I think this is the first step in his big direction.
Yeah. I think all of us would agree that Ryan Coogler will win an Oscar for directing one day.
at some point, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you could really make an argument it could have been for this, or maybe, Creed or Fruitville. But I mean, the guy, he knows how to direct a good movie. So, but
I think hands down this is the best Marvel movie that they've ever done. And it shows you can tell, and we've talked about it, it's been over a year that we've talked Marvel movies, but you can this has been my biggest argument as far as any Marvel movie goes. Marvel feels like one big series. Like every single movie feels the exact same. Now, don't get me wrong, the formula works for them. They'll go out and find a small-time director, and all their movies, pretty much Kevin Feige is the one pulling the strings.
right.
Not this movie. This movie is the first movie where they go get a big-time director, they give him the entire fucking budget, they say, write me something from square one, probably use these tools and write whatever you want. And it shows that it obviously paid off. It got nominated for a fucking Oscar. To me, it's the best Marvel movie that they've ever done.
It has great and unique characteristics that are vastly different from the other films.
And he's not afraid to change it up and not go page by page for the comic book.
Well, and I think one of the reasons this movie is also so successful is that it's its own movie. It has nothing to do, other than the final credit scene, it has nothing to do at all with Infinity War or Thanos or anything like that. It just tells the story of T'Challa and his rise to power and basically it being threatened by Killmonger. So,
and then after this, you end up having, what do you have? You have Infinity War, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Endgame, and then Spider-Man. And again, it goes, as soon as that movie's over, it feels, again, just the exact same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of wish that they would do this more often with the other movies. Spider-Man could have felt its own thing. Some of the Thor movies could have felt different, but everything just feels like it has to. Maybe it's just because of the phases, but I think Phase 4 is probably going to be one of the better phases. What do you guys think?
Well, I think because we have nothing, there's nothing big we're leading into. They literally have to start from scratch. I mean, you can make an argument that WandaVision's kind of the start of this, but I mean, in film lore, it's Black Widow.
Yeah, just talking about filmography.
It's Black Widow.
It's going to be Black Widow, and then we have the Eternals in November.
Yeah,
and then Shang-Chi.
But no, is Spider-Man Christmas?
Spider-Man is Christmas.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3, yeah.
It's like Shang-Chi or Chai, however you want to pronounce it.
And then Black Panther 2, I guess, is after that.
Black Panther 2 would be next July.
Yeah.
And then Doctor Strange.
When is Doctor Strange? That's May of next year, right?
Doctor Strange, I think, is November of next year.
So, one of the things that I wanted to point out earlier was, since I'm a big physical media collector, the Blu-ray release came out a few months after the theatrical release, obviously, May 16th, 2018. It sold for the first time in recent memory. It sold $87 million worth of physical media, and that's 4.2 million units. That is big time physical media. So if you don't have Disney Plus, it sounds like most of you guys already picked up this fucking movie, whether it be DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K. Almost 5 million units. That's a lot as far as physical media goes.
So here's the release calendar. We get 4 Marvel movies. If everything stays on track, we get 4 Marvel movies. We get Black Widow in May, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that's July. I thought that was November. Eternals is in November. Spider-Man No Way From Home is December. Doctor Strange is March 25th of next year. Thor, Love and Thunder is May 6th of next year. Black Panther, July 8th.
Damn.
And Captain Marvel 2, November of next year.
Damn.
So
it felt like these movies were so far away, and now that
we have like 5 of them this year.
Now that things are kind of in a direction to where you can kind of have some stability.
I don't care if there's a rehashing of COVID-19. If Black Widow gets released in theaters, my ass is going to the theater.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't care if the Black Plague is fucking released.
One thing that was, kind of nice is we didn't have to spend all that money to go see all these films. You go to the film, or you go to the movies, and you buy the tickets, you buy the popcorn, you buy the drinks, you see the movie, and then 2 months later another movie comes out. But then 2 months later, you're also having to pick up the Blu-ray. And with me and you, I was picking up the steelbooks for every film that was coming out. So I was dropping $30 a pop, $60 to $80 for films every 2 months, which was crazy. But just the way that Marvel was going, it was worth it. The experiences, and then picking up the steelbooks and actually having that physical media is something I look forward to. So
before we get into the film, and we're kind of jumping all over the place, but say by May everything kind of slowly gets back to normal. Theaters are let's say 50% capacity. Marvel drops Black Widow in theaters. What would you guys do if it's hard to find a ticket? Do you guys think it'll get that packed where people just have to go to the theater?
I'm gonna get a ticket regardless. If I got to punch a kid in the throat or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sock a little kid in the throat. But I'm talking about if it's elbow to elbow and you just can't get tickets because it's like Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, then what?
Theaters, what they're going to have to do is, obviously we're not going to have a huge amount of releases, so they can have more
every theater
open.
With Black Widow.
Yeah, more theaters open, more showings for the movie.
Yeah.
In order to compensate for the 50% capacity.
So. Ed, what about you? Do you think that opening up 6 theater rooms for one movie, do you think that's the way they're going to go?
Hell, they might. Honestly, I know a lot of businesses, especially theaters, are not maybe starving, but definitely needing the money. So I think they'll go ahead and open it to as much capacity as they can, for that matter. So
if they see that there's a huge demand for people to come back to the movies, they'll open up more showings. If they see that there's not a huge demand, they'll definitely limit it and limit staff. But with Black Widow coming out and it being a year past its initial release date, and how big WandaVision was, how just hungry Marvel fans, movie fans are, I think they could have it at 100%, and people aren't going to care. They're going to go, especially with all the vaccines that are out.
So, and the other thing is take that one step further. Between Godzilla vs. Kong, which comes out at the end of the month, and Black Widow, there's nothing coming out in April.
Yeah.
So it's literally those 2 movies. For the time being.
So we're 8 weeks away from Black Widow. Black Widow comes out May the 7th, and we'll talk about it Monday, May the 10th. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Craig?
I don't remember.
My bad.
No, you're good.
8 weeks away.
But before then...
Let's talk Black Panther.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan month. Why not start off some of the big conversations with Michael B. Jordan? Like I said earlier, I think he is. This movie is definitely a really good movie, but I think he makes it that much better Ed, you were talking about, it takes a really great villain to have a really good hero. I think that's the case. But I mean, my only negative, like I told you guys at the beginning, he's not in it that much. Which he's not the main guy. He's not the hero, which is fine.
But I mean, like he shows up probably in the first like 15 minutes, and he doesn't come back till the hour mark of the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, he isn't there a lot, but it is very much quality whenever he is in the shot.
Yeah,
I think he outdoes Chadwick Boseman in the scenes that they're together in.
Yeah.
From dialogue to the way he looks. I might get some flack for this now after the events had happened, but before we even did this episode, we talked about doing this episode 2 years ago on its initial 1-year anniversary release.
Well, we were even going to talk about it if it had won Best Picture. Yeah.
But 2 movies ended up knocking this movie out of our voting poll, which is crazy. But I talked about it then that I feel like they kind of should have used Michael B. Jordan and casted him as Black Panther. What do you guys think about that? Like, that was me saying that 2 years ago. I feel like he should have been Black Panther.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, it could have gone either way. But I mean, at the same time,
I feel like he's bigger. He's more charismatic, and I feel he's more believable than Chadwick Boseman was.
I don't know.
And I mean, maybe that's why Ryan Coogler asked him to be Killmonger, because he wanted that type of character. Because, like, I mean, you flip the roles. I don't think Chadwick Boseman could show the range of.
He's not as vicious as Michael was as Killmonger.
Right. And so I think, I mean, having somebody like Michael B. Jordan be Killmonger and have that body stature and that type of range of emotion to where he can be upset, be angry, and just flat out a killer, I think that's why he was casted the way it was. And I think we talked about this that way, a year or so ago. But I just think Chadwick Boseman may not have been the best choice. Like, Michael B. Jordan could have played Black Panther, but I think having him as Killmonger was more so the deciding factor than, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody think, fantasy booking wise, that they will bring Killmonger back to be that Black Panther figure, or is Black Panther going to be a female actress?
They've said that Michael B. Jordan is open to coming back as Killmonger. I don't know if, like you said, he's going to take on the Black Panther role, but he is open to coming back. I kind of, on this rewatch, I kind of thought that. Let me get her name real quick.
Shuri.
No. I kind of think Nakia. Oh. Because the mom kind of offered her the rose thing that gives the power to her. So
I honestly still stand by what I said. I don't know how long ago, but that Shuri, the little sister, Letitia Wright.
Mm-hmm.
I still, up and down, I still would cast her as the new Black Panther, because I mean, honestly, like I said, in regards to the passing of Chadwick Boseman, I feel that's kind of the only respectful way to go forward with the character. And I do understand, like, Michael B. Jordan would have made a fantastic Black Panther.
Well, why do you think Michael B. Jordan would not be a respectful way to carry on Black Panther?
I think I'm not saying Michael B. Jordan would not be respectable. I'm saying Killmonger getting that title of Black Panther.
They kind of made up at the end, though, jumping ahead of ourselves.
To a point, yes, but like,
and technically they're related, and he would be family wise, he would be the next kind of in bloodline.
He would be in the line, but I mean, personally, I just think that it's Shuri's title or whatever.
Right, but one thing that makes this an interesting debate and kind of, like you said, fantasy booking, is that Killmonger honestly isn't a real villain.
Well, no,
he didn't do anything bad to Wakanda. He was wanting to share the knowledge of Wakanda, which ended up happening, which ended up getting.
Shuri wanted to do the same thing, though.
Right, he just had a little more vicious intent of
going about it.
But at the same time, nothing he did was really villain-esque. So I think him replacing and becoming that Black Panther figure, he was, he had nothing but hate for T'Challa because of how T'Chaka treated his father and how he killed his father. But you go about it, and
do you guys think this would work if they brought in the storyline of T'Challa had to give his life to bring Michael B. Jordan's life back? Do you think that would be,
I mean,
you think that would be looked about as like, hey, let's use this storyline? And we're just all,
fantasizing.
So you think that could be like a storyline where Chadwick Boseman's character had to give his life to bring Killmonger back?
I don't think necessarily bring him back because they could save him. With the dude got shot in the back,
right?
Ross,
yeah.
They saved him. But
what's the only way to kind of ride his character off into the sunset?
I mean, on top of that, they've brought different characters back anyways, so it's not like they couldn't just say, well, when he was in the sands, yeah.
But they still have to explain the disappearance of T'Challa.
I just think maybe you do something with the snap or something with Thanos. You just kind of go about it that way, and you do kind of the memoir of like how they did Tony Stark.
Did it ever show? It did end up showing T'Challa come back after the snap, right?
Yeah. Because
he was at the end of the funeral. Okay.
So there's you can always do something.
I think ultimately, like you said, we've been kind of fantasizing about this for a little bit, but ultimately, the only two people that really know what's going to happen is Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
He's writing the script and everything, but.
Well, let's go ahead and get them on the phone. No,
right. Ed, I agree with you to a certain point, but at the same time, I can see Michael B. Jordan coming back, but not because if you've seen like his Twitter post, he respected Chadwick to the utmost extreme, and I just don't see him taking that role.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As
not as T'Challa, but as Black Panther.
How about Daniel Kaluuya?
Yeah, but he was like such a minor character though.
But now his name, his household name, his acting chops have gotten bigger. I mean,
he's probably going to win an Oscar next month. So
his time could be now. I just don't think, and I'm not saying you're going to waste it on Shuri, not at all. But I think her character means more to the story as her being where she is.
Not in the background necessarily, but behind the mic, so to speak.
Not really behind the mic, because where she is at her point in the story, I think she's more useful the character she's at now than being a Black Panther.
As being the Tinkerer.
Kind of Howard Stark.
Yeah, she's kind of like the Q in 007 or like you said, Tony Stark or whatever.
Well, we all have different kind of views. Ed, you think it's going to be Shuri. I think it's going to be Michael B. Jordan. Zach, you think it's going to be...
I don't know.
I think whoever they go with, it's going to be fine. Yeah. They're going to write a story that...
I say Nakia.
Makes it perfect for them to send their utmost respect to Chadwick for what he did and, how he brought about, playing the role of T'Challa. I just think they're going to write it in the way it's supposed to be, and whatever way they do it, we're going to sit there and be like, what, this is a great choice.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the movie. Like I said, you guys have a huge cast here. There's Sterling Brown's in this movie, Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, who I love, plays the mom, Forrest Whitaker, Andy Serkis, who plays really the true villain in this movie. Man, this is just packed full of talent.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think the first time you see Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa in this movie? You see him, of course, in Civil War, but he really pops up the first time, putting on the suit.
Dropping out of the plane.
What do you guys think about that opening scene with him playing T'Challa?
When he drops out and it's completely black and all you see is the black and silver reflecting off of their lights, it was just like the coolest thing in the theater, seeing that. Just him using the shadows to kind of...
Well, very Panther-esque.
Right,
I mean, honestly, because you're not going to see a Black Panther coming until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, that's part of their stick is, they somehow understand how they are and how their color helps them blend in to their natural surroundings, and they learn from a young age to kind of harness it to its full potential, and that's why they're such a feared predator out there in the wild. And I mean, honestly, he kind of does a similar thing in nature to the character for that matter. So yeah, it's a very cool moment.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's a great. It's a reminder of what this character is. You know, throwing the, I guess, tracking beads out on the cars and using the environment to sneak up on the characters that they're trying to get. And it's great comedy. It's just like, oh, he froze again, didn't he? He's like, yeah.
Like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
One thing that I did really enjoy about this movie is we all knew that he had a cool suit and he had the claws in Civil War, but they really expand on how Shuri invented all of this technology using vibranium in this film, and which leads into films in the future.
The suit kind of looks generic in Civil War.
Yeah.
It's way different in this one, and I appreciate the small detail in this one. The man, let's talk about Andy Serkis for a little bit, because I don't know when we'll talk about him again. Probably when we visit Planet of the Apes or Lord of the Rings later this year. But man, I thought he was perfect. I don't know why he does not do more in-person roles instead of just hiding behind CGI stuff. To me, he was really, really brutal and ruthless in this movie. I wish he would have had a little bit more screen time. But when I first watched this movie, when Killmonger brought him in the body bag, I was like, man, that would have been great if he was faking it the whole time, and boom, he helps out a little bit. But man, Andy Serkis does not get enough credit, I think, being in this movie. Again, like I said, I don't know when we're going to talk about him again. What do you guys think of Andy Serkis playing the ruthless guy that he did in this movie?
Claw. Yeah, he definitely exuberates that, or sorry, he definitely portrays an asshole that's having fun with what he's doing. He's not just like on a mission. He's having fun with what he's doing.
He's kind of Joker-esque. He wants to just see things turn to shit, and at the same time he's laughing about everything along
and see what goes on. Like he doesn't have a full-on plan. Kind of like what Heath Ledger says in the joke as the Joker. You think I have a plan? I'm just a dog after a car. When I catch up to it, or when I catch it, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. That seems what Claw's character point is that he has a part of a plan and he wants to do a lot of shit and he wants to get at something, but when he has it, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
Zach, what about you? You haven't given your two thoughts. I know what you personally think about Andy Serkis, but what do you think? He brings so much to this movie that I think I don't think he got enough recognition.
Yeah, I think. And, we did get a little bit of him in Age of Ultron, but that just really wasn't, even at that time, I didn't know, like, what his character was leading up to. And this one, really, if you really think about it, he's only in the casino sequence and the interrogation, and then he's killed off. Yeah. I mean, just like that.
I enjoyed him in the interrogation scene, though.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, he's so off the rails, unhinged.
See, that's detail shit right there. I forgot how he was involved in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
That's some good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people might think, like, okay, that's kind of stupid, over the top, but no, it fits so well with the character.
Yeah.
Because when he's sitting in the interrogation and he's singing, "Don't hurt me no more," because he feels like they've treated him badly, and he's just singing and kind of playing the jokey style that he plays. So
and when Martin Freeman comes in the room, he's just like, okay, you really think like a third world country is gonna has that type of power? So it's like, oh no, like, it's there, dude. You don't know.
Yeah, we're an A class, y'all are B. What the fuck is up?
Winston Duke and his group. What did you guys think of that first fight scene where he challenged T'Challa for the right to be king?
Jabari.
Well, it kind of explains in the beginning of the movie that the Jabari tribe spread off to kind of be their own entity because they didn't believe in everything, and so when they come down, you think everybody's there at the challenge, and then they come down and he challenges them, and I think they could have had somebody else play as Winston Duke's character, but I think Winston Duke as a whole in this film, I think he's a good fit for that type of character because he ends up, jumping ahead. He ends up having a change of heart.
He's a good fucking actor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you just their tribe kind of animal, I guess is what you say. It's a gorilla.
Gorilla tribe, yeah.
So he had to be big and kind of bigger than anybody else. But no, I think he's a good fit for this. And like you said, Winston Duke's a great actor. So
it's funny that Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke end up being in Us the next year. So
and then after that, yeah, Winston Duke had a big year. He ended up doing stuff like Spencer Confidential, working with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. So I see he's another one that's on the rise that I see just him doing like huge things in years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Jordan Peele direct a dark MCU movie. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that would have been.
That'd be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think when Killmonger finally does meet up with T'Challa and kind of breaks his back and will and tosses him down and he is now the new king? What do you guys think of those scenes?
This movie, like you said, is 3 years old. That still gave me chills. Where he just beats the hell out of him, throws him off the cliff, and says, "I'm the king now. What are you going to do about it?"
Yeah.
It still gave me goosebumps.
Well, and then not only that, but the "Is this your king now?" Like that is such a big moment. I mean, people use it in memes. People use it in daily conversations. Like that dialogue is just the way he used it in that sequence. Like you said, it gives you goosebumps because it's just like, dude comes in. He's trained to be a killer his whole life just to come in and take the throne, and he did that in the first going. So it was just it was a powerful moment by Michael B. Jordan right there.
I'm going to read some top 5 fight scenes from emailers and listeners, but I'm surprised that fight scene wasn't on any of our fight lists last week.
It kind of goes under the radar a little bit.
It was really under the radar. I think it's because it's so small and so short that, I forgot about it until I rewatched it today.
One thing I think all of us would agree would congratulate Ryan Coogler on is just the sense of detail in this movie. I mean, just the music, the costume design, just the whole entire world of Wakanda. I mean, most of it you could probably it's probably just done in a computer, but it's just so well done. It's just you believe that that's a real place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ultimately, this movie was nominated for 7 Oscars. It won 3 for costume design, score, and production design. And
well, yeah, it's
a technically incredibly well done movie.
You name off all of that stuff, and we say Ryan Coogler just because he's kind of behind everything, but it takes an army to come up with the costume designs and everything like that. So, hats off to everybody who was a part of this film and doing the costumes. We're here when we're watching it as well, and when T'Challa goes to the
ancestral plains,
those gowns, the robes. I'm not sure the technical term for the clothes that they're wearing, but just
it's very well done. I mean, honestly, because that's you can tell the difference in how T'Challa is very not traditional, but modern yet traditional,
mm-hmm.
and then T'Chaka is very traditional. Like you, I don't know what the garb is actually called, but you feel like you could probably see that garb from hundreds of years back as well. Maybe not as detailed and fine of print or material, but you just can tell how they are similar but different in the same ways. And he represents change and future to where T'Challa represents change and future to where T'Chaka represents the traditional style of doing things in Wakanda, for that matter. He did accept the progress and the progression, for that matter, of the country as a whole, but he still kept things reserved and all that. And at the end of the movie, T'Challa opens up and changes the Wakanda nation forever, for that matter, and makes everybody see we ain't just some Neanderthal beings. We're literally light years ahead of you guys. catch the fuck up.
And one of the coolest things in this film is when they show, like kind of what just we saw now, is when they show the wide shots of certain areas, and you have the gorilla holding up the ledge
building,
for the Jabari tribe, and you have, like, at the end of Civil War when they kind of tease Black Panther, you have the giant Black Panther, and also at the end of the movie, just those huge statues of the animals is, you just sit there and you're like, man, if that was something that was actually real, would be just mind blowing to see.
And I like how there's different. I mean, we only really go into we get Wakanda and we get the Jabari. Well, Wakanda and the Jabari.
The Panther tribe.
The Panther tribe, yeah, and the Jabari. But I would like to see, like, maybe they'll go further into that the sequel.
Because isn't Daniel Kaluuya's tribe like the rhinos?
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget that they are doing a Disney Plus series on Wakanda.
Yeah,
I think it's called Wakanda Forever, or Wakanda, and it's going to be its own Disney Plus series separate from the films. So you guys are probably going to get to see all these different tribes in everyday life, and some of the, I think it's going to lead up into Black Panther 2.
That would be good.
I kind of want to say the guy with the, I don't know what those are called either, but the big lip ring and the blue and green, really nice blue and green suit. I want to say he's like a crocodile tribe, because the scarring, the little dots on Michael B. Jordan's or Killmonger's body is called crocodile scarring, and it's actually a real thing that they use to this day.
Those were kills.
Right? No.
He's talking about Daniel Kaluuya's tribe.
Oh, okay.
Well, not only that, but the guy in the blue and green, but as well as Killmonger did that, but he didn't know that was or he may have known that it was associated. But yeah, it's called crocodile scarring, and it's an actual real technique in real life, for that matter.
Well, let's get into that final fight scene of Killmonger, and you have T'Challa, kind of like a Rocky scenario where he comes back and gets his throne back, and they fight pretty much for the whole end of the movie. What do you guys think about the ending scene?
Yeah.
Too quick?
No, I mean, it's kind of it's a story, and it's a one film kind of showing.
Let's talk about the final fight between them. Did you think that was too quick?
The fight itself?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it did show the disadvantage of experience and knowledge of his nation and what everything was.
Whose nation?
Well, Wakanda, T'Challa's nation, for that matter, and how he was born there and thrived there and came to rule there, so he knew it. He knew what he was looking for. He knew how Shuri put things together and shit like that. To where, with Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan's character, he might have known some of it, but he didn't know the intricacies that T'Challa did, and that's eventually the ignorance and the, I want to say, egotistical side of Killmonger got the best of this. Got the best of him. But yeah, and I mean, it led to a sloppy part, in just one small sloppy part.
Because he thought he was basically bulletproof, but he used the sonar for the, sonar, the light railing.
I kind of want to almost compare it to the real life magnetic, I don't know the exact term, but the magnetic trains over in like Japan and all that they use. I'm like, are y'all taking inspiration from this and just, switching it off to something a little different than going from there? Because shit like that is cool.
Do you think they have some of them still dress up in superhero costumes? Or do you think most of them is CGI?
I think some of them are real. I did read in the research that Michael B. Jordan got to keep his Panther outfit, so I think some of them are real and some of them are, I think, CGI.
Nice.
So,
I mean, they could always, have like, okay, T'Challa, whenever he's going after somebody and he gets hit, of course, the purple lights and all that, they can be instrumented as CGI to where the suit's, still authentic, or at least mostly authentic. Other than maybe the claws and little things like the eyes or something like that. Because, I mean, I'm sure with, Spider-Man, Tom Holland, I'm sure he's not 100% just, going to town with the eyes, they've got to be CGI.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
most of the Spider-Man get up is CGI.
Yeah.
Which I don't appreciate. I appreciate more of the
Practical outfits.
the practical outfits like they had back in the day with Tobey Maguire or even some of the Batman stuff. Speaking of some of the outfits, what about the outfits that you don't really get to see that much in some of the dancing and some of the locals that you see, or some of the bodyguards of the king, as you will? You guys like those outfits?
Mm-hmm.
It distinguishes them a lot from the rest of anybody. It lets you know, like, we're not just here to sit here and look pretty. Like, we're here to whoop your ass.
You know what this makes me? This makes me excited for Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a movie that kind of blows people out of the water.
Cultural,
yeah. And I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really, really neat movie.
I think that's going to be what this was for the African community. It'll be for the Asian community.
It'll be a nice spin on things.
I mean, you've got to appreciate every single tribe has their own kind of thing. Like, the rhinoceros tribe, as we're kind of thinking about it, has the shields.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yes, with certain things you can overcome it, like Black Panther did. But at the same point, you've got a ton of things that each tribe has different, for that matter.
Because they all
detailed.
In a perfect world, each tribe accelerates at one thing to make the entire nation stronger as a nation.
Yeah.
If everybody's good at one thing, then you're going to have weak points. But if you have people covering bits and pieces here and there, it's all going to cover. So that's kind of where the shield and their aspect of things come into play.
Yeah.
And then I think one really cool part, just showing the kind of if you've raised a pet, for that matter, 9 times out of 10 the pet's not really going to attack you. So I think that was cool with the rhinos, and then she just steps in. The leader of the King's Guard steps in front of it, and it's just like, oh shit, hey, and licks her. Just in the middle of everything, heated, the rhino's charging like a badass, and all of a sudden just, oh, hey, what's up? It's you.
The females of Black Panther get overlooked sometimes, I think there's some scenes where the female actors outweigh and outperform the male actors.
Mm-hmm.
So in some sense, I think that would be a great way to, maybe if you can't get Michael B. Jordan for Black Panther 2, just have the all-female cast of Black Panther 2 just light it up, because their performance in this movie was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, of course you're going to get overshadowed by the people that they put all the focus on, with Michael B. Jordan or Killmonger and Black Panther. But like you said, Shuri, Nakia, Okoye, those are 3 very strong female characters that hopefully that they do pursue bigger leads on in that TV series that you were talking about.
Well, not even that. I think they can just have their own. They can be the full cast of Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
not just a series.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I'd argue a little bit, not too much different, but a little different, because I do understand. I do feel like they could have gotten a lot more time and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'd argue, I feel like their importance is kind of put on a bit of a step stool, just because look at the Kingsguard. There are no men in that Kingsguard. It's seriously like, it's a female powered, and it's just like, look, we're here for a reason, not you. So who the fuck are you? And I mean, when keep forgetting what the agent's name is.
Agent Ross.
When Agent Ross, before the interrogation scene with Claw, he puts his hand on T'Challa, and she's just like, next time he touches you, I'm impaling him on that desk. And I mean, it just shows, like, they're not afraid to show out and show up in front of any and everybody. Like, they don't give a fuck. They're there for the reason they're there for. That's it. Even with her character going against her own husband and saying, look, man, I understand you've got yours, but look, I'm loyal to my real king. I'm loyal to the one that I believe is truly in power. So
you agreed or disagree that they should be more part of part 2?
More of part 2, yes. I feel like they should be.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I would say they weren't overlooked to a point, just because.
I feel like they should have got more screen time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like they were overlooked, but I do feel like they were kind of just like, not necessarily true side characters, but put off as side characters to a point. But at the same time, like I said, you didn't see a man in the King's Guard. Like, it was all females, so that automatically puts it like, look, to get to him, you got to go through us, and I'm sorry, but we're kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to this fucking nation. So, fuck with me.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, honestly, that's kind of the way I was looking at it.
I would like to see Shuri's character more in the future with her
inventions. Man.
No, just the more of her fighting, because in this movie it's all about the technology she's built, because it shows the suit being, you know, the new advances for the suit and the beads and the sticking the beads on the cars and the helicopters and planes and stuff like that. You don't really get to see her fight in this film. You see Okoye fight, you see Nakia just a little bit. That's one thing I would like to see is more character development for them, as, you know, in the action sequences for them.
Do you think they might be a part of another MCU movie, or do you think they'll keep them in the Black Panther 2 film? Because I mean, you really can't, unless we don't even know the timeline really of Black Widow, do we? Is it right before Infinity War?
Yeah, it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War.
Or Endgame, because she's in Endgame.
No, Civil War and Infinity War, yeah.
I was gonna say I'd like to see some of them in Black Widow, but so at the end you obviously see Killmonger get stabbed or shot in the back. He dies. He doesn't die. We don't really know.
He just falls over.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe he passed out. What did you guys think of the ending? Did you think it was a good abrupt ending, or do you think they should have done a little bit more explaining? Or was it good that they just left it open for whatever's left? Not all at once.
I think they opened it. I think they
made a good choice by leaving it open, for that matter. Because, I mean, he's more than likely survived a couple other bullet wounds and all that. So, you know, it's definitely feasible, like...
I just don't see T'Challa letting him die just because he wants to. And, you know, because they were able to save Ross with their technology. So, you know, a stab wound, that's probably easily fixable.
Yeah.
Craig, what about you? Did you like the ending?
I liked the possibility of, you know, they left it open to where he could be saved if they wanted to save him, or, you know, that's why I feel like Black Panther 2 is going to be fine, is because there is that possibility of, you know, Michael B. Jordan returning if they wanted him to. Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more between Black Panther and Killmonger in the fight sequencing, now that we're kind of going through it again. I wish there was just a little bit more to it, but at the same time, I feel like it's this movie's not about the physical interaction between them. It's more of it's
very story based driven.
Very story based. It's more of the, you know, internal battles that are happening between Killmonger not being a part, feeling like he was an outsider to a place that he should feel like is home, and the betrayal of his dad, along with Black Panther kind of dealing with the internal battle of, you know, yes, we have all this technology, but at the same time, I need to just protect my kingdom. I need to protect us. And then he kind of gets the, you know, they feed off of each other in this, in a sense, to where it ultimately explains the story and moves forward with them. But
it's very much a battle of morals.
Yeah,
between the two.
So I wish there was a little bit more physical, just because Killmonger was such a good and badass character.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that it was, you know, how they did it was fine as well.
I mean, with the exception of, you know, if you bringing that up, with the exception of Thanos, I mean, Killmonger's really the only good villain that Marvel has, to be honest.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's true. Very, very good point. Because at this point, and I don't know, maybe it's the same thing with just superheroes in general. They're really one and done.
Yeah.
In a lot of these Marvel and DC movies, we talked about it during the Birds of Prey episode. You know, a lot of these good villains that they find have just been one and done, without the exception of maybe the Joker and Thanos.
I kind of think that, you know, obviously he didn't have much of an arc, but if you go back to the first Iron Man, Jeff Bridges, I thought he was kind of a cool villain.
Yeah.
So
amazing villains. I think that's just everybody's lack of. I mean, they're just one and done.
Yeah.
It's wanting to tell a story and move on. But I do think at some point, some characters need to have more than just one.
Yeah.
And you could, I mean, if you say, when I say one and done, I mean they're dead and done.
Yeah.
It would have been fine or cool to see Iron Man put Jeff Bridges' character behind bars, because there's always a possibility of bringing him back.
Well, and to take that further, it looks like they're trying to do that with Michael Keaton and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
looked like
that's true.
is it Venom?
Yeah.
Is he supposed to show up in the next Venom or something like that?
Oh, he's in Morbius.
Morbius, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Which is, I can't wait for that one either.
I will say the fight sequence between Black Panther and Killmonger, the CGI.
Was that on this watch? Did you kind of catch that? It was a little iffy.
It's a little. It's
Video
not
game-esque.
it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
Whereas the CGI throughout the rest of the film is fantastic.
Yeah.
But definitely that fight sequence when they're on the train, kind of
Maybe it's because that's all CGI.
CGI. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
they're probably completely covered in a green screen.
Yeah.
With the exception of when the train comes by and their mask goes off, that's them, but
Mhm.
they're all in like green suits and
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, hell, the Anakin and Obi-Wan sequence isn't the greatest because that was all green screen.
Hey, don't fuck with the Jedis. Let's go ahead and start talking about our favorite scenes throughout the movie. Zach, do you want to kick us off? Do you have any favorite scenes that you want to talk about?
Yeah. I think the casino sequence is really fun. I think there's a tracking shot in the middle of that I thought was really like well done and thought out. The battle between Killmonger and T'Challa when he gets thrown off the cliff is excellent. And I mean, it's sentimental, but man, I'm gonna miss Chadwick Boseman, man. I think he was, we kind of debated whether Michael B. Jordan or whoever should have played Black Panther, but I mean, Marvel saw something in him, and it worked. So.
And it's also crazy. Before we started debating about doing Michael B. Jordan month, we were like, should we do a Chadwick Boseman month?
Yeah.
And I'd have to agree with you, Zach. The casino shot was very fun. I liked when Andy Serkis's character made it rain, and he even made that that statement. The interrogation scene where Killmonger breaks out Andy Serkis and they take off. I thought that was a really well put together scene. I'm gonna go different from you though. I'm gonna say Black Panther's scene where he gets the crown and gets challenged by Duke.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good fight scene. And then the ending. But the ending for the reason of them leading into the next Marvel movie. The ending credit scene where the kids are messing with Bucky.
Yeah.
I thought that was just every single Marvel movie just gets you so amped up for the next one.
And that's my argument. I was going to bring that up with bringing Killmonger or Michael B. Jordan back, is that Shuri was able to save Bucky from like the internal darkness that he had. She could probably do the same thing to Killmonger.
Yeah.
So
good point there. And then you get the final teary-eyed segment between Boseman and Jordan. Craig, what about you? Do you have any favorite scenes that you want to talk about throughout the movie?
I like the opening scene where he jumps out of the plane. I like the car scene chase where Shuri kind of tells him that he has a kinetic energy built up, and you see him kind of use it on that car, and it explodes the front end and it flips, and the whole sequence of when she's showing him the suit and she tells him to hit it here, and then she tells him to do it again, and she's recording it, and he's like, delete that footage, and the sneakers, just a lot of the comedy was very
it was well put,
under the radar comedy that flies right by you, but if you notice it, is very funny whenever it's said. So that's one thing I appreciated about this. Like, this CGI right here doesn't look all that great.
Yeah.
You agree with me? Maybe it could be just because of the TV. But like when they're up close, it looks great.
You watch your fucking mouth. Right?
No, I'm saying the
just messing with you.
TV accelerates.
I think it's just on the wide shots.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell, but when it's close up, it looks good.
Yeah.
So.
The casino, when they enter the casino with the Weeknd song, the whole, as you are going through the doors, the beat gets louder, the music gets clearer. I thought that was excellent. And then just a lot of the fight sequences I thought were very well done, and I love the whole nanotech, I guess is what you want to call it, with the suits. So yeah, those are some of my favorite scenes. And then I did have a favorite quote from this film. It is at the end. It says, "In times of crisis, the wise build bridges while the foolish build barriers. We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single tribe." I think that is a very good quote for, he means it as, kind of sharing knowledge with the tribes and with the rest of the world. But I mean, if we could just use that in our every single, our everyday lives, treating one another as if they were an ally instead of an enemy, it would make things so much better. So,
Well said. Well said. Ed, what about you? Do you have any favorite scenes?
Honestly, I know this is quite a few scenes, but the entire end battle scene was awesome. Well put together, well choreographed, and as well as you can kind of tell that that inspired the end game as well as Infinity War fight scenes for that matter, especially the large ones. I think that the Killmonger fight was a very good one. Again, well choreographed. Very, very good detail in their expressions, character development for that matter, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I've got to say that those two to me were really, really, really well put together. Yeah.
Ed, let's start off with you then. What would you rate this movie out of 10?
Solid 9 out of 10. Solid 9 out of 10.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow right up there with you, Ed. 9 out of 10. I think it's with the out of the Avengers films, I think it's definitely one of the best origin single Marvel movies that we got.
Craig?
10. Yeah, I think it's a great film.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think it's 10. What were your reasons for? Just
like I said, I think it's a great film. Just as a superhero, it's a great film. As a superhero film, a part of the MCU, it's a great film. I think the storytelling, the character, the telling of the characters, the building of the characters, the music, the score, everything about this film was great, except for some parts of the CGI. But I mean, we're still not. CGI is not.
CGI is nowhere near perfect. It'll never be perfect.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not going to fault them on that. So I think as far as like storytelling, villain, hero, the dynamic between the characters, everything was flawless in this film.
I agree. I'm going to give it a 10 as well. Some of the cinematography is probably some of the best that you've ever seen in any superhero movies, whether it was real shots in Africa or just a green screen, and then the wide shots and the dialogue in this movie. A lot of people just don't bring up dialogue in superhero movies, but the dialogue in this movie is not only is it strong, but like Craig said, and he brought up that it's memorable. I can't agree any more with you. The performances in this movie compared to any other Marvel movie and any other superhero movie is different, and you could probably put it up there as far as dialogue goes, maybe with The Dark Knight. But it's just different, and I think Marvel should copycat what they did here and go out and get outstanding, solid directors who know how to write a fucking script. Do that, and your movies will be amazing.
They don't even have to be big name directors, because at this point in time, I mean, Coogler was big, but he wasn't like a huge director.
Well, I mean, he had already done like Fruitvale Station and Rocky at this point, or not Rocky,
Creed 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had big. That's what I'm saying. He had big movies, but he wasn't like, you couldn't go up to somebody and say, "Do you know who Ryan Coogler is?" And they'd be like, "Oh, absolutely."
Right.
Like you had to know certain aspects of who Ryan Coogler was. Yeah. And I think
yeah, but I mean, that's something they, like you said, even if it is an independent director that nobody knows, they should still give them the driver's seat and let them write the scripts.
Yeah, you need Marvel needs to control it to a degree in order for everything to be compliant. You don't want to mess like the other universes have.
Right.
But to a degree, you still need to let them shine in their own creativity.
Yeah.
Was that a shot at Ryan Johnson?
I'll just any other
Ryan.
any other universe you want to take it as.
Well, I think all of us can agree that this is not only a great superhero movie, it's a great film, and it's one of the few comic book movies that's able to break through the genre.
Mhm.
It became such a huge, phenomenal success.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that often either.
No.
It was not just kids wearing superhero masks, but as far as like the cultural outbreak, people were. It was just the feeling behind this movie was far different than any other superhero film I've been a part of.
Yeah,
this is true. Before we get into the email bag, guys, don't forget next week we are talking Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. You can play along next week. Our top 5 is going to be our top 5 director's cuts or
extended
editions. Yeah. So play along, because 9 times out of 10, guess what? The director's cut is better than the theatrical release. So that's gonna be our top 5 next week. Justice League Snyder Cut hits HBO Max this Thursday, March the 18th. So play along. You can even watch the original theatrical cut on HBO Max. So why not do a double header? Because guys, Snyder Cut's only 4 fucking hours. So why not do a 6-hour thing and just watch the first one?
Thank you for the reminder. That was one of my recent. I actually went back and rewatched Justice League.
Good for you. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it then.
We'll talk about it next week. But before we get into the mailbag, Justice League, the Snyder Cut, Monday, March 22nd. And then Monday, March 29th, it is our top 5 plus 5 Pixar movies. And then, guys, Monday, April the 5th, is finally Kong versus Godzilla. Who in this room is going to finally go check it out at IMAX?
I'll
Craig?
probably go to a theater.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Ed?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh, you're going. We're all going to go. We're going to take a big-ass four-person date, and we're going to go see this movie.
We'll fucking see. Fucking see.
They got popcorn?
They got popcorn.
Oh, fuck popcorn.
Monday the 12th of April, we're going to check out No Country for Old Men. All these movies that I'm naming off that we're doing in April is all on HBO Max. So check it out. Monday, April the 9th, we're going to do the new Mortal Kombat movie. And then Monday, April the 26th, we will talk about the 18-year anniversary of The Scorpion King. 18 years, guys, that The Rock first dubbed Scorpion King.
You want to talk about bad CGI?
Hey.
That's the Mummy Returns.
The Rock, Michael Clark Duncan.
You remember when he was...
Yeah.
I think that's going to be good. And then May the 3rd, we're going to talk about The Rock. We're going to have a profile piece directly on The Rock. We're going to talk about all his movies, what can be, what could have been. We might throw some of his wrestling career in there. I know we'll talk about the University of Miami, but it happens the day after his birthday. So we'll talk about The Rock on May the 3rd. And then, guys, May the 10th is Black Widow. It's going to be a huge, huge movie, huge conversation. And it falls the day after Mother's Day. We'll talk about Black Widow. And then May the 17th is the 20th anniversary of Shrek. Wow. We will talk the 20th anniversary of Shrek on May the 17th. Should be a fun few weeks.
Ooh, the mail's here. That means we get to see our old friend, Mailbox.
I am working on a mailbox too, by the way. A direct mailbox that features some of our favorite quotes, like the girth. Or it's fine.
Or I saw it in the theater.
Yeah. Again, guys, you can email us at the show, cinemen921@gmail.com. That's cinemen921@gmail.com. Cine-Men, and we'll read them throughout the show or at the end of every episode, except for the Snyder Cut emails and the Pixar emails. I have not read any of those yet. I'm saving those for those episodes, but keep them coming. Nigel says, my favorite fight scene is definitely the opening scene from Infinity War. I loved seeing Loki die, and I thought the powerhouse punches between Thanos and Hulk were incredible.
Well, damn.
Fuck Loki, right? Thomas says, just finished Creed 2 episode, and it was my first time watch. Even though these are fictional characters, I feel like it's one of the best sports movies I've ever seen, and I applaud everyone involved. Great film, 10 stars.
Nice.
Do you guys think that any of the characters have to be, real life athletes in order for it to be a sports movie?
No.
Rocky can be a sports movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Rocky's a fictional character, but people think he's real.
Yeah.
So
What about Talladega Nights? Is that a sports movie?
I mean, it's supposed to be,
I feel like it could be. But guess what? If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you.
Fuck you, Chip. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Sean says, I can't believe I've never heard of Fruitvale Station before you guys reviewed it before that episode. I feel like it's a must-see, and I really don't know why it never got publicity. Well, you got it now.
Yeah, it was more of like a Sundance,
true.
Toronto International Film Festival thing.
Independent films.
Yeah.
Zach, I mean, I think me and you catch a lot of independent films. Do you think the pandemic has hurt or helped out independent films?
I think it's definitely helped out independent films because, everything big got pushed back or you had to get a streaming service or whatever. And it basically said, okay, here's these independent films. You can pay like $20, $15 and go watch them.
Yeah.
So.
Because some theaters here locally don't really play independent films.
Unless it's Rodeo Cinema.
Rodeo Cinema, your official theater of this podcast, and they do play independent films.
I'm proud of myself, actually.
You should be. Sam G69 says Black Panther is a flat-out masterpiece, the only MCU movie that I feel deserved and should have won Best Picture and nominated for Best Picture. Zach, what won Best Picture that year?
Green Book.
Was it Green Book?
It was Green Book.
The year before was the deaf lady fucking a fish, right?
Yeah.
So, 2019, then, man, I gotta say, after looking at Black Panther, maybe it should have won the Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's
over
definitely
Green Book.
It's the same argument that I have for like Get Out, because it's like that's the film that everyone knows from that year, and Black Panther is the film that everyone knew from 2018.
So Get Out, if Get Out
War.
won the year before, it would have been Get Out and then Black Panther the next year.
Yeah.
Because
it would have been Get Out, Black Panther, and Parasite. Yeah. Damn, those are three. That would have been a good run.
Oh, no.
Moonlight was 2016.
Yeah, so was Get Out 2017?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would have been some good. Yeah. Fuck you, Shape of Water. Even though I kind of like the movie. Steven says Creed 2 is way better than the original. Loved the Drago story. 9 stars. If you guys had to pick what the base would be around Creed 3, who would you pick? Or what would the story be? We kind of went over this last week.
Yeah.
About what Creed 3 would be.
I mean, Craig's right. There really is no more ideas that they can do unless they just bring somebody else back. Like,
I hope they don't bring somebody else's son back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mr. T comes back and fights.
Have Creed fuck up Tommy Gunn,
Oh, Jesus.
Have you seen the real life documentary on the fighter about? I mean, Tommy Gunn's not his real name, but Tommy Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Morrison. There's a real life 30 for 30 documentary about him, about how he's kind of fucked up now. Let's see. Sarah97 says, "What are you guys most excited to talk about in your future episodes to come?" I'm really excited about Scorpion King. I don't know about you guys, but I think that is, The Rock has done so many movies since the Scorpion King.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it'll be fun to go back and see how he started and how, some of those movies are compared to what he's done recently.
Yeah, I'm personally excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. I think that's going to be a really fun movie to talk about. And then after the next episode, No Country for Old Men, I think that's a brilliant fucking movie.
What about you, Craig? Mortal Kombat, Justice League?
Yeah, I'm
Shrek?
I'm interested in the Justice League. The first one was kind of a letdown, obviously. So I'm kind of looking. I'm hoping it's able to redeem itself and be the movie we hoped it all would be. And then just going back and rehashing with revisiting Shrek. I think it's gonna be a good one, and I'm excited to see what the Mortal Kombat brings.
Ed, what about you? You look like you're ready for Shrek.
Oh, fuck yeah. Shrek, Shrek is love and Shrek is life, man. Let's fucking go.
Monday the 17th of May.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shit.
Isn't that your birthday?
Is there?
Isn't that funny? We're talking about Shrek on your birthday?
Yeah, I'll actually be gone that day.
Oh, he won't be able to join us for Shrek.
No.
Oh,
well, no.
Donkey.
No, the day at, well, yeah. So
Will you be here that Sunday before?
yes.
Oh, so you can talk Shrek.
Yeah.
Nice.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'll be gone the 17th.
Oh, but you'll be here for the 16th?
Yes.
So we'll send you off. Nice. You may not get to miss any episodes then. I don't know.
Shouldn't. Because I'm taking that a week off, and I only have something to do, I think, Friday.
And then you'll be back that following Sunday for whatever we talk about, which we do not know yet.
Yeah, I'll be back that. I'm just going to that place Monday through probably Wednesday.
If anybody wants to know, he's going to hell. He's gonna go to hell for like 4 days.
It might be as hot as hell.
It is.
I mean, it might be.
Jeff says, Zach, you recently recommended a show that I can't remember what it was, but it was a TV show. Does anybody have any recommendations on new TV shows, whether it be Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, anything new that I haven't seen TV show-wise? I did hear Schitt's Creek was really good.
Has anyone watched Schitt's Creek?
I haven't.
My wife's mom is all about it, so if that tells you anything.
I would check out the last season of Attack on Titan. That's pretty fucking cool. There's going to be a lot of shit that's already gone on. WandaVision, there's another one.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts on Friday, like you said, Johnny.
Friday the 19th?
Boom.
The show that I was talking about was Your Honor on Showtime.
With Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Craig? I haven't gotten into TV shows in quite some time, guys. Other than WandaVision.
Are not my forte.
I'm afraid of things getting canceled. So I don't want to get involved in a TV show and then like a year or two later it gets canceled.
Yeah, I'm more of like a...
I think you like limited series because you know they're going to end at so many episodes.
That's true.
So
That's true. That's very true.
I don't want to watch 16 seasons of Grey's Anatomy.
And then come to find out that it was all just a dream and she wakes right up next to Derek.
Is that really what it was?
No. But that's a fucking thought right there, huh?
Oh,
there's a fucking thought.
Shit. ABC, send us some money.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'll do it for $100. I'm a cheap whore.
You could just you could do that, and then the first 16 seasons would all just be a dream, and then you could do another 16 seasons.
Yeah.
Boom. Money makers.
Fuck all that shit. No.
Coco Chris says, I completely forgot how good Black Panther was. I love Black Panther. Shit's dope as fuck. Is there any superhero movie that you guys want to get into or talk about non-MCU or MCU?
You're my fucking guy, Coco Chris. Just saying, you're my fucking guy.
That's non.
I mean, honestly,
that's either non or MCU.
We could do the Wolverine. The Wolverine. That'd be pretty cool.
The one where he goes to Japan.
Yes, I think that's pretty cool. Loses his powers and all that shit. Yeah.
Logan would be good.
Logan would be good.
We haven't talked about Logan. That's true.
Hell, we can always go to the Meteor Man from '93.
We could. Rodeo Cinema recently showed Meteor Man.
Oh, fucking wow! Yeah. That's kind of funny, actually.
You were doing it as a joke, but yeah, they did.
Well,
the Green Hornet.
Ooh, the Green Hornet.
There you go.
That's a good one.
I mean, not fully as a joke, but I was just like, this is the old motherfucker.
Or you know what, guys? Let's take a movie that people just completely shit on, like Fantastic Four.
BVS.
And let's kind of talk about it. Batman versus Superman. Yeah. Green Lantern. I feel like we need a challenge. We need a good debate in our lives again.
Well,
I feel like
we did Daredevil. So.
I feel like we should do a month that we do nothing but horrible movies.
Sounds like a deal.
I mean,
critically
honestly,
acclaimed shit movies.
Like, people hate this fucking movie. People don't like this. Hell, I'll even throw a fucking five-year engagement in there.
Anything but Dragon Ball Evolutions. We know how shit that movie is.
Even that. Even fucking that.
No,
we can pull that bitch made motherfucker.
I think Ed would kill himself by the end of the episode.
I mean, like, we could do that episode, and then Ed doesn't show up the next day, and we're like, what happened? Like, oh yeah, he fucking killed himself.
Read the obituary in the fucking Sunday paper, like, goddamn.
Or The Last Airbender.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There was a couple redeeming qualities in there, but it wasn't enough to actually make that an okay film. So,
I feel like that's a good idea. We can start the middle of May and continue all the way through June. Sounds like a fun summer.
Because I mean, honestly, I've kind of been thinking on some old emails,
for a whole month.
And everybody is like,
I got COVID again.
Y'all only do movies that you like or movies that are good or anything like that. Fuck it, let's throw some horrible motherfuckers in there. See what.
I mean, we are doing the Snyder cut next week, so
that might not be horrible. I
heard it's in the air. A lot of reactions have been good on it.
It's in the air, so we'll see.
It's girthy.
That is one thing. The rewatchability of that is not going to be.
It's the girth.
It's going to be like Lord of the Rings, where you pull it out, blow off the dust, and then you can watch it.
Don't be afraid of the girth. It's okay, Craig.
Dude,
sometimes pulling out with never mind. Valerie says, my favorite fighting scene is anything from Tom Hardy lately, whether it be Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, Fighter, or The Revenant. He is really solid in a lot of his fight scenes.
I like Tom Hardy.
Sounds like she does too. Tom Hardy, though, that's a guy who he's kind of been out of the news recently, unless you tie him into the Daniel Craig James Bond set.
Yeah. He has Venom coming out this summer, so
this is true.
let there be carnage.
Let there be
Fucking Woody Harrelson, man.
let there be girth. But guys, yeah, seriously. Other than that, does anybody have anything that they want to add to this episode, Black Panther? Put a stamp on it?
I think this is part of what's going to be an amazing legacy for him in the future, Chadwick Boseman for that matter. So, kind of sucks that guy goes out like that, as well as how he was in the prime of his career and had so much more to go for. But hopes and prayers to his family. And this is Ed saying I'll see you on the silver screen.
Zach, what about you?
No, if you are a Marvel fan, I mean, I'm sure you've already seen this movie, but do yourself a favor and give it a rewatch. I'll see you next week for the Snyder Cut.
Craig?
I want to say I think it's going to be interesting to come back 10, 15 years from now and see what I feel like is going to be extremely successful careers for the majority of the cast in this film. That not the bigger names, not Angela Bassett, not Andy Serkis, people that have already done stuff. I'm talking about the people like Duke Winston coming back and revisiting some of those characters who are on the rise now, coming back and seeing them and where they're at in 15 years. I think will be interesting.
True. Don't forget, guys, next week we talk the Snyder Cut Justice League right here. Start streaming on HBO Max this Thursday, the 18th. Check out Black Panther anytime on Disney Plus. And then don't forget, guys, let's wish Spike Lee a happy birthday, March the 20th. We will talk about him some more next week on our Justice League episode. So don't forget, next week, Justice League right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You can bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me. Fuck you and all your expectations. I don't even want your congratulations. I recognize your false confidence and calculated promises all in your conversations. I hate people that feel entitled. Look at me crazy.